So many people live life with unhappy circumstances, and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they're conditioned to a life of security, conformity, and conservatism, all of which may appear to give one peace of mind, but in reality, nothing is more damaging to the adventurous spirit within a man than a secure future. The very basic core of a man's living spirit is his passion for adventure. The joy of life comes from new experiences, and hence, there is no greater joy than to have an endlessly changing horizon for each day to have a new and dipping sun. Christopher McCandless. No phone, no pools, no pets, no cigarettes. Ultimate freedom. No longer to be poisoned by civilization, he flees and walks alone upon the land to become lost in the wild. I always believed that music allowed people to express things that they couldn't put into words. Singing was my blessing, and music was my outlet. I remember when I first met my music teacher. I was heartened with her compassion and kindness. She helped me discover my voice and inspired me to pursue my musical aspirations. And to be honest, I truly don't know if I would have learned guitar if it weren't for her, letting me borrow one of hers for a couple of months and helping me along the way. Back when I was in grade 9, I almost skipped out on the opportunity of joining choir. And thank goodness I didn't. It was one of the best decisions of my whole high school experience. The people I met and the things I learned are so important to me and things that I'll carry on with me for the rest of my life. She made vocals and choir the best experience it could have ever been. What a good-natured and kind-hearted person she is. Thank you. Early riser. The most valuable time I have in my day is during the early mornings. I wake up, feel great, got the whole day ahead of me. The one time that there's genuinely silence in my house and when I can be on my own, have some time to myself. When I can watch my favorite movies and not be consumed by what my whole family thinks of it, or when I can cook myself a decent meal without having 3 other people in the kitchen at the exact same time. When I can open the windows and fill the house with fresh air without getting yelled at because it's too damn cold. In the morning, I'm at peace, just watching the sky fill with bright colors and sipping on my coffee. A feeling of simplistic joy, true happiness. Something not brought upon by materialistic bribery that consumes your heart for a couple seconds. The mornings are my time, and the best time that I got in my day. Joy. A great man once said, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." I live by that. I think one of the greatest and most valuable gifts you can give to another person is understanding them. Empathy. Trying to see what their eyes have seen and the crosses that they've been given to carry. So many of us try to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We all have our own demons and the things we refuse to let go of. Regret. One of the most tormenting and agonizing emotions that man can experience. But it's when we come to understand this concept that we open our hearts to others. We realize that we're all but flesh and blood. We're all riddled with flaws. Every rose has its thorn. For it is written in Matthew, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." My true best friend. The admiration and respect that I got for my dad is beyond what words can convey. Always supportive, always encouraging of me, something I greatly appreciated. Love his humbleness and how he never took anything for himself. How damn hard he worked, and how much wisdom he had. Even in the worst of times, my dad always made me laugh. The bond we have and our understanding of each other, it's priceless. The feeling of driving down the highway up north and being able to enjoy the silence of each other's company, and not feeling so compelled to fill the space with small talk. We've always been there for each other, through thick and thin. I'm grateful for all the things he's taught me and for everything he did for me. I love you, Tata.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
I remember a story I was once told. A story that pushed me to believe that there is power beyond us. And so it goes. There was a woman driving out on a back road in the middle of the night. She was desperate to get somewhere, so she chose to drive through the pitch black night rather than wait till morning. Everything was smooth sailing until she saw a faint figure in the distance. Hardly being able to see the road, she drove closer to try and make out what it was that she saw. She slowly approached, and then her blood went cold. A man standing in the middle of the road. Petrified, the woman froze in her tracks as the man glided towards her car. Barely being able to make out his face, the man began knocking on the window and muttering. The woman, being absolutely terrified, sped up and left the man in the dust. Being overwhelmed, the woman continued driving until she felt she was far enough away from the disturbing stranger. And just when she was starting to calm down, the man appeared again. This time, rushing towards her car and violently yanking at the door. He was yelling hysterically, and the woman was petrified. With no luck of getting the door open, the man ran off into the dark and emerged with a big rock, the size of a football. Launching it at the car window, the glass shattered, and he snatched her out. Dragging her away from the car, the woman cried uncontrollably and was begging for the man to leave her alone. Just when she heard an ear-splitting noise. Her ears ringing, she looked around for the man who was no longer to be seen, and then she caught a glimpse of the tracks. It was then that she noticed that her car was obliterated, scattered in pieces on the road. She then realized the road that she was driving on was not a road. She was on the train tracks. Her car was annihilated by the oncoming train, the same car that she would have been in if it weren't for that man. So she looked around in hopes to find him, but he was nowhere to be found, almost as though he vanished into thin air. Noise. It's like there's an underlying message to everything we see, telling us that we're unsuitable, unsatisfactory, undesirable. See, it's everywhere you look. Flip to the front cover of Vogue and discover that you aren't pretty enough. Show a little skin. Read up on celebrities spending all their dough on pointless things to teach you that you have nothing. The way we're taught to be excessively apologetic and polite that we're too afraid to stand up for what we truly believe. Become complacent and let the media tell us who we need to be. We begin to think that we're simply disappointing. And this influences all of us. Flip on the news and another story on a kid who slashed his wrist and pulled the trigger because he couldn't take another day of being cyberbullied. Listen to your best friend tell you that they're feeling really dejected and they don't know what to do. See, through so many aspects, our lives are influenced by the people in the ruling class. However, it's when we lose sight of who we are and fail to remember our most precious dreams that we become who we're told to be. It's easy to succumb to the temptation once portrayed to be so glamorous. The most important thing is to stay real. No phone, no pools, no pets, no cigarettes. Ultimate freedom. No longer to be poisoned by civilization, he flees and walks alone upon the land to become